Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another 1/6 scale VTS Toys third-party unlicensed figure unboxing and review video. Today we're going to be taking a look at none other than the VTS Black Skull, aka of course Roman Sionis, Black Mask himself from Arkham Origins, or technically Birds of Prey, because of course Ewan McGregor did portray the character in live action for the very first time. That's where he's going to be going in my display, but yes, technically it's supposed to be an Arkham Origins version of Black Mask. I've been super excited ever since we saw the promo pics. This guy looks like a jam-packed release, and I did see Keyboard Warriors video. I am really curious as to the quality of this guy in hand. Now if you would like to pick up your very own Black Mask, I purchased mine from toyswonderland.com. I have included the link in the description below for your reference purposes only. This is by no means a promotional video. This is a review on a product that I purchased with my own money. If you do like seeing really early Hot Toys and third-party reviews, why not hit that subscribe and bell notification icon so you're notified as soon as brand new content goes live on the channel. Also check out the join button for Justin's Collection Plus to get early access to some videos, as well as a 5% off code for toyswonderland.com. What we are going to do now though is get the box laying flat in the light box and do the unboxing. And here we have the box art for Black Mask himself. Relatively straightforward, just a black marble backdrop with a nice silhouette of Roman Sionis on the front there. I love the gloss of the mask, it really does accentuate the look. And of course down the bottom here you do have Black Skull. On the side, Black Skull once again, and just the marble effect on the back. Now I've been pretty excited to receive this guy, not because I'm a huge Arkham Origins fan, you probably already know where this is going, but because I'm a huge Birds of Prey fan. Yes, I really did enjoy the movie, and while I do know this is not meant to be Ewan McGregor's version of the character, it's still a Black Mask for the shelf, and I'm pretty sure it's the only Black Mask in 1/6 scale. And I have to say, so far so good. I'm loving the stark white of the outfit itself. Don't worry, throughout the course of this video, we will be making use of the dark backdrop so you can see this guy just a little bit better. Now, of course, he does come with a bunch of accessories, so what we are going to do now is get everything that he comes with laid out in the light box and take a closer look at all of the accessories. And here we have everything that comes with Black Mask, and as you can see, it's a pretty darn decent array of stuff. Let's start off by taking a look at the display base first, and you can probably already tell I love this. It's gorgeous. It's a beautiful diorama style display base, not unlike we've seen from another company, Damn Toys. Interesting, but nevertheless, it's a beautifully done piece. I love the sculpting, I love the paint applications, I love the rubble effect. It's all textural and all visceral, and it looks beautiful. Black Skull with a nice metal nameplate on the front. I kinda wish it did say Black Mask, but nevertheless, this still works very nicely for me. Speaking of Black Mask, let's take a look at the actual mask itself. It's done in a really neat way. It's magnetic, it literally just closes up, and as you can see, you do have the eyes on the inside. Let's talk about the sculpt first, because it's incredibly sharp. I love the way it's done. It's also glossy on the front, but matte on the back. It's an interesting effect, but it kind of does have a seam around the edge there, and that does make sense. Some dry brushing of silver also on the front. Now, why can it actually be separated and the eyes can remove, I hear you ask? Well, keen-eyed viewer, it's a really nice and straightforward gimmick, but you can actually take a different set of eyes with some black eye makeup around the edges and put that on, and it looks really, really good. It also has the eyes looking off to one side there, a little bit devious, and I love it. You do also have the exact same thing, but looking forward. You can't really tell who that's supposed to be, and that works fine for me. It's Black Mask. It's going to be my Birds of Prey Black Mask on the shelf. I know some people are probably screaming, saying, "No, Justin, it's Arkham Origins, use it in that display." For me personally, I think he serves more of a purpose, at least, as I said, for me, in my Birds of Prey display, but wherever you decide to put him in yours is up to you. You do, of course, have a double underarm holster here, made of a pleathery style material with a tiny little pendant on both sides. Done pretty pretty well, but fairly basic. Now let's talk about some of the weaponry, starting off with this detonator, this bomb if you will. The wires look really good and they are all real wires. This thing looks marvelous. There is so much paint and so much sculpt on this. It's weathered and it's worn and it looks incredibly real. Honestly, you can just pop it on the display base and it looks right at home. That is a beautiful and well done piece. So too is the M4. There is so much that can move on this that honestly I was surprised. First of all, the stock can retract, but that's not it. You do have the little bullet door that can flop down. Of course, that's where the spent rounds will come out. You can also pull back the lever and show the working action. And you can remove the magazine with bullet detail on the inside there. It also has working Picatinny rails, so if you did want to attach some sights or other various bits and pieces all over the front of your M4, you could very well do that. There are also some little strap holder pieces here, so you can attach a strap if that's something you'd like to do. This might just be one of the most intricate and detailed M4s in 1/6 scale. Now he does come with two 1911s. We'll take a look at just one, a working action on the top there, and of course a removable magazine with bullet detail painted on the top. These are really nice. They're just a glossy black, but that works perfectly for Black Mask. So too does the baseball bat. And this thing, I'm pleased to report, is made of die-cast. It is super heavy and super shiny. That is fantastic, something I wasn't expecting, but I'm super pleased to report that it is, because that is a super quality piece. Now he does come with this. You might be thinking, Justin, what on earth is that? This is a cover for his neck, because of course in Arkham Origins, it was the Joker masquerading as Black Mask. He covered up pretty much his entire body from head to toe. You can use that on his neck, or you can just have it lying about as some random piece of fabric. Keyboard Warriors did mention that in their review as well. I really liked how they had him cleaning off the baseball bat with this piece of fabric, a very classy pose. Now the final thing he does come with is a teeny tiny little wristwatch. It is quite a challenge to get it done up on his wrist there, but check out the detail on this. There's detail on the back, there's the underside of the leather strap, and of course even more detail on the front. This thing looks marvelous. What we are going to do now though is get the figure himself out here and take a closer look. And here we have him standing straight up and down the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. And I have to say, as simple as this outfit design is, VTS have nailed it. The tailoring is on point, the choice of colors and materials, more on that in just a second, they nailed as well. As I said, it is very simplistic, but there's a lot of chance of doing this stuff wrong if you don't pick the various pieces that'll coexist nicely alongside one another. If you get the boots wrong, if you get the jacket wrong, if you get the shirt wrong, it all kind of throws the entire thing off, but VTS have got it just right. Also, the eyes behind the mask ooze personality. I don't know if that's me just reading more into it and really liking Ewan McGregor's performance as Black Mask in Birds of Prey, which I will not apologize for. I think he delivered a fantastic performance, but this guy kind of just screams that for me personally. I know, it's supposed to be the Arkham version, and I'll try and refer to this as the Arkham version, but I can't help it, he just screams Birds of Prey, and I love it. What we are going to do now, though, is take him off the rotating turntable, punch in, and take a closer look at the details. And here we have him up close and personal, and I have to say, as simple as the design for Black Mask is in Arkham Origins, I think VTS nailed it. This looks really darn fantastic. It's a very straightforward white suit, but it's not just that. There are a couple of different choices of material that work quite well for the figure. Starting off with the jacket. Yes, it can appear slightly poofy up at the shoulders, but trust me, once you futz around with it and get it to lay just right, it can come across very, very nice. As for the vest itself, it is actually a different style of material. You can see a bit of a cross-stitch pattern, and yes, it is just pegged in at the front with some little press snaps. You can remove it if that's something you'd like to do, and in fact I had to do that on mine because out of the box the tie wasn't quite sitting just right. Speaking of the tie, it also is white. It's pre-tied in the box, thank goodness, because if there's one thing I dislike more than 1/6 scale buttons, it's having to tie 1/6 scale ties. Now let's talk about the head and the way it fits on the body. Basically, it is on one one of those 1/6 scale adjustable neck pegs, which means if you want it sitting higher, you can do that, or if you want it sitting lower, you can do that as well. It's magnetic, so of course it can open at the back as you saw earlier, but basically that means you can adjust it to within pretty much the nth degree. You can get it looking just the way you like, which in my opinion is a huge plus. Often they'll fix the neck at a certain height, and it can sometimes not look quite right for the character, but basically if you want your Black Mask to look really squat and hunch, you can push it all the way down, but I personally am going to have it sitting a little bit higher. Moving down to the pants themselves, it's fairly basic. They are literally just white suit pants. There is one complaint that I do have though, and it's the fact that they are incredibly tight. You'll see how that affects articulation in just a second. Now the belt does have a real metal clasp on the front there. Not that they really needed to do that, but it's a nice touch for something that otherwise is very basic. Moving down to the boots. They are relatively decent. They are just a very basic plain sculpt. No laces, nothing like that. Very simplistic, and on the soles you can see a little bit of wear on the tread there, which is a nice touch. They actually do say Kenko on the bottom. I don't know if that's a real brand or not, but chances are, this being a third-party company, and them not really being too shy about intellectual property rights, it probably is. Overall though, I know we didn't spend a hell of a lot of time looking at the outfit on Black Mask, because it's super straightforward. It's literally a white suit, black shirt, and a black skull mask, and honestly, I think VTS have nailed it. Now for a quick side-by-side comparison, here we have the Suicide Squad version of Harley Quinn standing next to Black Mask, and I have to say, I think this really works. I know technically, it's not supposed to be that Black Mask, the one from the DCEU, but still, I think if you wanted to fudge him into your display like I'm going to, it's pretty much going to work. It's a very straightforward character design. It's literally a white suit with a dude wearing a skull mask. You can't really get any more generic than that, so honestly I think this could work quite nicely in your DCEU collection. At least for me, that's where mine's going to go. And next up, here we have the BVS version of Batman, and I have to say, I think this really does work. Batman is slightly taller than Black Mask, enough for it to appear like he would be intimidating if these two met for a confrontation. I think this works quite nicely. You'd expect that throughout the course of the DCEU, at some point, Black Mask and Batman would have crossed paths. So therefore, if you wanted to have these two fighting in an alleyway diorama on your display, I think honestly, that would look absolutely awesome. Just going over articulation on Black Mask. Now bear in mind, this is my particular copy of this figure, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful. I'm sure when you get yours in hand, you can push the joints slightly further than I'm willing to go. Now starting off with the head itself, it is on a single ball joint, and as you can see, he does get a fairly decent range of motion. It sits on the joint relatively loose, as you can see, so yes, it will flop around, but that does afford you slightly more range of motion. Once you get it in the right position, just make sure that the magnetized sections are firmly in place, therefore it won't go flopping around in your display. The arms themselves go out to about there, pretty much all the way forward. You will have to futz with the jacket to get them to go slightly higher. Butterfly joint at the shoulder, swivel at the upper bicep, double bend there at the elbow. It is really darn stiff, and of course a regular 1/6 scale joint for the wrist itself. The torso does have a regular range of motion, but he is wearing multiple layers. You have the shirt, the vest, and the jacket, so of course you will have a little bit of material to contend with. Swivel and pivot side to side. The legs themselves go forward to about there. They are incredibly stiff as well, going out not a hell of a lot due to the nature of how tight these pants are, only to about there. Swivel at the upper thigh, double bend there for the knee, and of course a regular 1/6 scale style ankle peg for the foot itself. Just wrapping up on the VTS Toys Black Mask figure, aka Black Skull. It's what they're calling him on the box, but we all know this is supposed to be Black Mask from Arkham Origins. I love this figure. It is super simple, it is super straightforward, but they nailed it, and honestly, it's been a breath of fresh air. It's not overly complicated, he doesn't have a really intricate, crazy outfit, a bunch of insane accessories. He's just a back-to-basics release, a really nice, high-quality white suit with the nice interchangeable eye gimmick and the adjustable mask. You can see a bit of the exposed neck from the back, but that's the benefit of having a neck on a figure like this. You can move it up and down, therefore I was able to pull pull it up quite high and tilt his head down, giving him a bit of a sassy look. I love the modularity of this release. The swappable eyes are a huge plus in my personal opinion. The accessories are fantastic. That display base, in my opinion, might just be worth the price of admission alone. It is beautiful. It's a stunning diorama style display base. A bunch of sculpt work went into that, and a bunch of paint work as well. VTS have nailed it. Whether they are known as VTS or Damn Toys, this company definitely show a lot of love, care and attention to detail when they're putting out their releases. Now, I picked up my Black Mask from toyswonderland.com. Link for that is in the description below, but if you are heading over there, do so knowing full well this is an unlicensed figure. That means VTS doesn't hold the intellectual property rights to actually brand this as Suicide Squad or Birds of Prey or even Arkham Origins. That's why he's just called Black Skull. While you are down in the description though, why not check out the link to 6 Scale Network, the awesome Facebook group. Come along, chat figures, share photos of your collection, and of course, see what's coming up next on the channel. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.